listening to Speaking with One Voice with Rodney Payne. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, topics you'd like discussed on the show, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at rpayne@onevoiceinc.org. That's rpayne@onevoiceinc.org. You can also search for us on Acast, Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Just look for Speaking with One Voice. Now, here's your host, Rodney Payne.
Hello, and welcome to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. I am excited to be back with you again this week here on Speaking with One Voice, the podcast that's dedicated to building you and or your leadership team on your leadership journey. As always, I want to start with a great big thank you. You're continuing to listen, you're liking, you're subscribing. I'd like for you to go ahead and do some rating and some sharing. We want to continue to increase our influence in this space as we're adding value to you. I want you to make sure that you're following me on all of your social media platforms at Rodney R. Payne, And we want you to click the like button there on whatever platform you're watching on or listening on. And also turn on your notifications, especially on our YouTube channel at Rodney R. Payne, where you can catch this content in its video format, as well as wherever you're consuming this content. I just want to also tell you, if you'll drop by RodneyRPayne.com, that's our website, RodneyRPayne.com, I've got a free gift there for you. I want you to move the needle in your organization. This resource will help you to do that, and it is 100% free. So please make sure that you are taking advantage of every opportunity we have. When you're on that YouTube channel, click that little bell. Make sure that you're subscribing. Make sure that you're notified when new content is available to you. Now, listen, today I want to continue talking about the 5 keys to effective collaboration. We're on key number 4 today. We've worked our way through the foundation of collaboration, building trust and respect, clear communication, the art of collaboration, and embracing diverse perspectives, or we called it the power of inclusion. Well, today I want to talk about role clarity and accountability. As you drive your team forward, we have to get to a place where we are leading our teams forward, and that's what we want to talk about today. It's so important. We talk about collaboration. The goal is to get the best out of each individual contributor on the team, to let them know the value that they add. We want them included, obviously, but we want the best possible product or output for our program, for our team, for our service. And how that happens is we get the best of everyone, and then we add it together, and we develop something that is going to be superb for our clients, as well as building our business and our brand. So today, as we look at role clarity and accountability in an effort to drive our team forward, I want to tell you the first thing you have to do if you're going to collaborate, you have to have role clarity. And what that really means is it means that you have to take time to define roles. So many times in collaborative efforts, there are little things that go undone because we're assuming someone else is going to do them. So what we have to do is look at how do we create specific roles and how do we decide who will do what. One of the things that I want you to do is to consider creating roles and role descriptions within the team that align with our ultimate goal. Now, how do we look at these particular roles? I'm going to continue to say this because I believe that it's best to start with the subject matter expert in mind. So when you look at your blank org chart and you're looking at collaboration, you're going to be cross-pollinating ideas. You're going to use people from different places. So if you don't have a clear vision of where you want to go, then there's no way that you can get the right roles. But as you look at this process, now you're going to dig in and say, okay, here's the program that we're looking to accomplish. Here's what we'd like to see as far as an overall product. Remember, we don't want to limit creativity. So we don't want to give too much description because we want you to have room to create. But you will have a creative on your team. You'll have a graphics person on your team. You'll have a vision person on your team. You'll have a person that's very good at executing the X's and O's and the strategy behind it. And so when you look at creating these roles will be very specific to filling the needs of the team to get the best product and using the best person on the team for it. Here's the challenge with roles. When you're looking at role clarity and you're defining roles, the biggest challenge is everyone has to know, every team member has to know their anticipated or expected contribution. What part are they playing? What is their specific role and what is their contribution or their team? So when you collaborate, you'll have individual contributors who lead teams, and we're trying to get different components of an organization to come together with one common goal. The challenge is many times each individual department or contributor has their own metrics and their own desirable outcomes. And so it's the key is to how do we get these to fit together? That's where you come in as the leader by making sure that everyone knows exactly what's expected of them as it relates to their contribution to the overall outcome of what we're attempting to deliver. So if you want to move your team forward, the first thing you have to do is make certain that you are defining the roles, being clear, being very specific, being very descriptive in what your expectations are of that role, and make sure everyone understands what they are expected to contribute. Doing that is half the battle, my friend. If you can get that done, now you have a team that you can set up for success because we need clarity. Now, it seems that this comes up nearly every month in our discussions as we look to grow as leaders, but it comes up so often because it's an area that can be so difficult to navigate. And that means that when we've established the role, we know we've got clear definition. Now we have to establish accountability. Now, what we know is accountability means to be answerable. I get that. That's our elementary leadership. We understand that. But when we talk about establishing accountability in a collaborative environment, it changes how we view it because now we have to empower others to hold us accountable while we also hold ourselves accountable. And accountability does not mean conflict. See, it's very significant in making sure that we set up accountability infrastructures. And so a lot of times you can use a tool, a CRM, if you will, that allows you to put tasks in, assign people, dates, check-ins, etc. That will help with accountability as opposed to you having to individually reach out to someone. And remember, in collaboration, oftentimes it's peer accountability, not subordinate accountability. So when you're a peer, we're on the same level, it's hard for someone to receive that they would be answerable to someone who they are quote unquote equal to on the organizational chart. That's why we want to have things set in place and build infrastructures that support accountability. On my team, we have a program that we use, and in using this program, it sets due dates. It lets us know where anyone on the team can view this particular program. I'm not partnering with a particular program, so I don't want to highlight one, but just you get the picture. And it lets us know where everybody on the team is at any given time. If you're in the green, the yellow, or the red. And the green means you're on target. The yellow means you're falling behind. The red means you are behind. So what happens when we set up these accountability infrastructures, we lessen the opportunity for conflict because everyone can see the progress of everyone else. We're not in separate corners having secret sauce and putting it out. We're all on one team, one goal, one desired outcome. And so if we have one place that we've built and developed that gives us an infrastructure, it allows us to be a team that is held accountable. This is phenomenal when we look at our individual contributions as well as our collective growth and progress. So now we're not waiting so long when we meet, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, but when we meet, we're not waiting so long for updates because we are getting an ongoing real-time update. So the goal here, when we look at accountability systems and infrastructures, our goal is that we want every member of the team who is a collaborative contributor to meet their commitments. By being a part of the team, you are already committing to be held accountable. You're saying, you can count on me to do this as it relates to this project, this product, or this team. So the goal of accountability is not to create conflict and strife. I want to be clear. The goal of accountability is to keep us on time, on target, and developing the best possible solution. That is our goal. So when I'm working with I have a team, and we do all different kinds of things to contribute to make sure that you get the best information possible. But everything we collaborate on is so that you, our clients, you, the consumers of our content, have an opportunity to receive the best possible information on your leadership journey. We want you to get the best content that helps to move the needle in your organization. And for that to happen, I have to have contributors on the team who are willing to collaborate, who are willing to be held accountable, and we have infrastructure set up to help us with that. Let me give you a for instance. I've had an opportunity to work with many people through my 30 plus years in leadership. And one of the things that's always a challenge is when you have a super talented person. I mean, they are so talented that they are just the superstar in their particular discipline. The challenge is they don't always deliver on time. They're not good team members, but if you finally get it out of them, it's amazing. I had one partner who, when I tell you their work is superior to any of their peers, it's unmatched. The challenge is they're not committed to being held accountable. They don't want you to hold them accountable, and they in essence begin to hold the team hostage because they know how good they are and they don't have good infrastructure, so they produce eventually. Well, when you're working alone, you can modify your schedules. You can modify your timelines. You can procrastinate. You can do whatever you want to do when you're alone. But when you collaborate, you have to meet the collected objectives, not just your objective. Whatever targets or deadlines we have as a team, we're counting on you to show up. So when we talk about establishing accountability, that should be done on the front end so that everyone knows what everyone is signing up for. Therefore, we don't have delays because of someone's failure to meet their timelines. That's when you have someone who is slow or non-responsive or doesn't want to be held accountable. Another thing when you talk about accountability infrastructure is that sometimes your team members get stuck. They have challenges. And if we have an accountability framework that's already in place, it helps us to be willing to share when we can't meet the mark on our own, when we need help from someone else. It helps us to raise our hand and to check on someone. If you see someone stuck in yellow or even on red, you don't reach out and say, "Why are you on yellow?" or "Why are you on red?" No, you reach out and say, "Hey, I notice you're behind a little bit. Is there something that I can help you with?" Because if you have the right skill set or you know the other team member, you can make a connection within the collaboration that produces a desired result. My friend, we have to first define what we're looking for as it relates to role clarity, but then we have to get to this establishing this accountability infrastructure so that we can help each member of the team to meet their commitments. Listen, you are listening to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. We are in the midst of our 5 keys to effective collaboration. We're on episode 4 in dealing with these particular challenges. We're talking about role clarity and accountability. I want to remind you, go over to rodneyrpayne.com, download that free gift so you can move the needle within your organization. It will help you, my friend, and I want you to get your hands on that. Now let's get back to role clarity and accountability as we're driving teams forward. We want to make progress. I have another thought I'd like for you to consider. So we've defined a clarity as far as as it relates to roles. We've also talked about establishing accountability. Now let's take one more step. Let's talk about how to do this. Regular check-ins. Uh, I've been in 2 different types of environments. I've been in a micromanagement environment, which simply drives me crazy. I've been in a situation where you're left to your own devices, and while that works well for me, it didn't work well for the overall team. So what I've found in my years of experience is that if you really want to have great role clarity and accountability, and you want to move forward, you must have regular check-ins. Regular check-ins. So what are we talking about here? When we talk about regular check-ins, this is where we have the dreaded team meetings. Oh my goodness. They can be the life of the party, or they can be a waste of time in your day that brings your productivity to a crawl. How do we get to a place where regular check ins, while necessary, are also effective? I want to talk to you about how to have regularly scheduled meetings and updates that add value to your team and don't drain your team. So, when we talk about regular check ins, when you establish your accountability infrastructure, what you want to do is set what will be the regularity rather of the meetings. How often will they happen? What are the time intervals? Not only how often will you have them is important, but it's also very important that you predetermine how long the meetings will last. I believe that if you can't say it in an hour, you need another meeting at another time. An hour is plenty of time, but quite frankly, you can probably do updates and touch points in 30 to 45 minutes. When you respect people's time, it's going to help you. So, one approach, again, this is not the only way, it's simply a way, is that when you look at what's going to happen in your meetings, I like for my leads to find 4 to 7 areas that will be touched in every meeting, and we will go through the meeting according to those 4 to 7 areas. That begins to set our agenda. Now, me personally, I like to start every meeting with celebrations. You all know my motto: we don't celebrate small victories, we celebrate all victories. So when we have these 4 to 7 areas, one might be budget, one might be creativity, one might be progress. It could be whatever you want it to be. But when you have these things, one, you know where the meeting is going. Two is you're prepared before you get there, because I want the information that I need for my meeting must be submitted to me 24 hours before the meeting, so that our team can put it together and make it very efficient and get out the redundancy and be very useful of your time. In meetings, I don't like a one-way meeting. I do not like for the chair to do the talking. I suggest that when you have these 4 to 7 items, that you might have one of the collaborative members of the team be the one to present item number one, item number four, and someone else is presenting, and then make every component of the meeting interactive. Now, listen, if it's simply data, you can send a report. So when I look at metrics, I'm looking at highlighted metrics, not in the weeds or micro metrics. I'm looking to get a how are we doing? Are we on budget? Are we above or below? Are we moving forward? And then keep it in the macro view in that meeting. If I have a budget meeting, obviously that's a deep dive meeting for that particular purpose. But when we're collaborating, we have many teams coming from many different directions, and we have to get everyone on the same page. So I start with celebrations. I pick 4 to 7 areas at every meeting. So what I've done is I've decided this is what our meetings will look like every time in this particular project, whatever that may be. And so when you do that, now you know what you're going to get. We're in the room. Now, I am a stickler. I'm a little bit old school, I got to admit to you. So I'm in a virtual meeting, which is really the common thing. It doesn't take time. There's no travel time, no setup time, no ramp up time. But what I ask of my team is, if we're going to be virtual, you will be seated at your desk. You will not be driving in a car. You will have your camera on, your microphone on, and your resources at your fingertips, and you will be fully engaged. The payoff for that is you don't have to spend 15 minutes driving to the meeting or 30 minutes driving to a meeting. You don't have to stop your day and then come in and have the small talk. You know that we say we're starting at 1 p.m., we'll start at 1 p.m. sharp. And if our meeting is 45 minutes, at 1:45, you'll be done. See, when that happens, now you put yourself in a position for the regular check-in to become something that you can comfortably navigate, and it becomes productive. And so the last thing I would suggest about regular check-ins is that this is where we collectively address roadblocks and come up with collaborative decisions. So when we have a roadblock, we have an obstacle that's in our way. When we put that in the room, and if you know the roadblock before you get there, we can put that out to the team beforehand, and then we can bring our ideas together. And I promise you, more times than not, you will find your answer in connecting a couple of the answers from your team. That's how that's going to work for you. So I want to make sure that you are with me and that you're understanding this. So make sure that you have regular check-ins, but let's make them worthwhile. So today we talked about defining roles. You got to make sure you know who's doing what and when they're going to do it and how it works, making sure everybody knows what their role is and what they're expected to contribute. Secondly, we talked about establishing accountability. You have to make sure that we have a process, a system, an infrastructure for accountability that helps our team members to meet their commitments. And thirdly, we talked about regular check-ins. We've got to have a meeting way that works. We've got to have a way to address roadblocks collaboratively so that we can win. So I just want you to remember, on this road to collaboration, key number one, the foundation of collaboration is building trust and respect. Key number two is clear communication, the art of collaboration. Key number three is the power of inclusion. And key number four is the role clarity and accountability driving teams forward. And our next time we get back together, we're going to talk about how we can continuously improve. That, my friends, we will have covered the full 5 keys to effective collaboration. You've been listening to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. As always, thank you for being in the room. Thank you for rating our podcast, liking our podcast, subscribing, and sharing. And thank you. I can see you're tuning in on our YouTube channel at Rodney R. Payne. Don't forget to stop by and pick up your free gift at rodneyrpayne.com so that we can help you move your organization to the next level. Well, my friends, that's all of my time for this week. And I want to thank you once again for being in the room and letting us add value to you and your leadership team each and every week here on Speaking with One Voice. It has been my pleasure. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. Until next time, my friends, let's keep growing together.
You've been listening to Speaking with One Voice. Please remember to follow Rodney Payne on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Rodney R. Payne. We'd love to hear from you and get your feedback, so please feel free to leave us comments. And if you would, rate and subscribe to the podcast, we'd appreciate that as well. Don't forget to set up for notifications so you can get the latest updates and social media posts and get new podcasts when they're released. As always, use the hashtag Speaking with One Voice or simply SWOV on any of your social media posts. On behalf of Rodney